The Chicago Bears have had pre-draft combine meetings with both defensive end Mykel Williams and running back Ashton Jeanty. What does this mean for the Bears' plans at number 10? Me and Steve are going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm joined by Steve-O, myself, Haize, in the building today. And I just wanted to run down this. We heard that the Bears, yesterday we heard that they scheduled a meeting with Ashton Jeanty, the running back there. And then today we found out that they've already met with defensive end Mykel Williams, who Steve-O just told me is going to be 21 at the draft, already 6'5", 265 pounds. Let's start off with the one I know you're more positive about. We're going to start off where we're positive. We'll go to where I know you're negative about. How do you feel about Mykel Williams and him being a possibility for the Bears here in the first round?
Now I will say, like, as of right now, I feel like it would be a bit of a reach to get him at 10. Just by saying right now it's early. We haven't seen anybody do the combines. I think he is going to participate during the drills once they start. But just like watching his years at Georgia, he's the guy that you just fall in love with his physical traits. He has all the traits that you want for an edge. 6'5", long arms. For his age and what he did at Georgia, he's a good run stopper. I would say that's probably his most best trait right as of now. That pass and rush is what we gonna need work on. But as of now, he's a pretty solid run stopper. And the thing that I like about him, though, he just got natural good instincts that not most football players naturally have. He just has a knack for the ball. I like how he does things off of hinges and hedges and stuff like that. He don't really get fooled a lot too. So I like him. I think he's a solid pick, and because of him being a 10th pick, I would say is mainly because of the upside. This is a very high upside, high ceiling type of guy.
Yeah, and the way that I've personally viewed this when I heard it is that it kind of signaled to me that maybe the Bears are willing to trade down. Now, we'll see what happens in the combine. Mykel Williams is somebody who very easily could rise up. I think a lot of mocks have him going between like 15 and 18, but he can easily rise up into that top 10 depending on how he does perform at the draft combine. But independent of that, this kind of maybe made me feel like there's a chance that they could have to trade back to get him. And I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, if he's the guy that they've signaled in and being the target there in the first round, and they realize, hey, some things are going ways where we can get another asset by trading back and still getting our guy, then I'm not mad at that. What do you think about that aspect as far as them trading down to get him?
Honestly, I've been having this thought process as in, if we gonna trade down, why not really trade down to get somebody like Mason or somebody like Abdul? Like, it's one thing to go in the offseason and get these guys like a Mason, even though they're not willing to move on them as of now, like a Myles Garrett or a Micah Parsons or a Max Crosby. If you're going to go and spend all that money and all that value in that, why not go move up in the draft and get somebody like Mason or Abdul?
Well, that's because and that is a chance. I've talked a little bit about that.
I don't think that's a high chance. But I'm just saying.
There's a chance that you can do something as far as trading up as well. I think the Bears are just leaving all their options open. Like, we know Ryan Poles is a willing dealing motherfucker, especially when there's value afoot. So I think this is just signals, like, especially when we talk about Ashton Jeanty as well. Like, this just shows that there's an openness to trade back. There could very well be an openness to trade up or just stay there at number 10 as well. So
yeah, of course.
But let's get into the next guy, Ashton Jeanty, who the Bears also met with. Now, this is a guy, 2,601 yards rushing last year, 7 yards per carry. He didn't have as many yards in the receiving game as he did in his sophomore year as a junior. As in the sophomore year, 569 yards receiving, only 138 last year, only 1 touchdown, 5 touchdowns a year before that. How you feeling about the potential of Ashton Jeanty?
I'm not shocked that they interviewed him. I mean, of course, you should do your due diligence, and do the best athletes. If the best athletes that's in this draft in the combine, I don't care if he's a kicker, you should be interviewing. That's just the nature of the job. But when it comes to Ashton Genty, I mean, I'm not a fan of picking him at 10. I'm just like I said, a 10th pick draft for a running back is a very specific place you have to be in your plan and in your organization to make that pick. That's a type of pick that's more of a want than a need, and you just so happen to I don't know, over the years recover a draft pick that had you in a high, and you was able to be, cool with reaching a little bit. That's kind of something we seen with Detroit. And I know a lot of people like, well, you seen what Ben Johnson did? That line was there first before he started doing all that. That's what people always like to skip over. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think we're realistically going to pick a running back at 10. But the interview, I'm fine with it. I knew it was coming, and you should be interviewing him.
Yeah, what do you think? So I get it as far as the running back at 10. Let me ask you this. What would the Bears have to do in free agency because keep in mind, they're starting caliber offensive linemen in the second round. If they got a Trey Smith and a Dahlman, or Will Fries and a Dahlman, a Zittler and a Trey Smith, if they did something like that where you're getting 2 starting caliber offensive linemen in free agency,
That's
then
the
are you
only way
more
I'd be
open to
cool.
them?
That's the only way I'd be cool with it. And it's
Okay.
two to three. It's
Yeah.
really, but it is depending on that second signing of the O line. But like if it's a Trey Smith, depends on who's the second one. But it has to be like 2 veterans, because, like I said, I'm not a fan of having a super young line. So I
That's
do
fair.
want some stability with 2 veterans at least coming in. And once you do that, by all means, make that swing.
Yeah.
It just
And,
you
and
just better hit. That's all I know.
And I agree with that too. Like I get it that that our biggest need is offensive line. So naturally, a lot of Bears fans are going to look at everything and say, "Well, you need to go offensive line first." But I think that's where the free agency coming in before the draft matters, because what they do in that free agency matters. Because if you walk away making 2 splash signings of Trey Smith and another starting caliber offensive lineman as the signings, I could see them, whether it's running back or if it's defensive lineman, I could see them going that route and then shoring up the rest of the offensive line with their 2 second-round picks.
Yeah. And that's my only thing. Like, if you're gonna do this, you gotta have a plan. And I think, like I said, a lot of people compare it to the Detroit, he had something to fall back on. He had David, plus he knew that line was already there. It was solidified. So in order for us to do that, he got to solidify this line, pick up somebody of value, not just anybody, not no just anybody like the dude that we should have been cutting Pat or whatever his name is. But yeah, if you could shore up this O line beforehand, and because it's my thing, like, I can say that, but we don't really know how they gonna work. So like, but still, like, I will be more accepting. I would say my reaction will be pissed if we did that. Yeah.
So if y'all haven't seen Steve-O pissed on the draft night, it's a sight to behold. That's for damn sure.
I don't think I've been pissed on any of our draft night recently.
Bulls draft night.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Bulls draft night. I don't think Bears draft night. I think we've all been pretty positive the last
No,
few drafts.
Bulls. I was more confused because nobody knew who the fuck Dalen was.
Like, bro, the Dalen Terry draft, because it was me, you, Bobby, and C Dub. That was one of the collective times. I think all 4 of us was just like, who the fuck?
Who? I was like, I paid attention to what motherfucker in Arizona. It was Ben Mather, not him.
Yeah. So, we'll see, man. I listen. Marifa Assad says, I just listened to the Poles interview he did with Jeff, and he said that the O-line will be a combination of veteran that can start immediately, second-year players, a.k.a. Kieran Amagaje, Ricky Stromberg. Listen, Kieran Amagaje better have been working his ass off from the end of the season to the start of the season, because I'm sorry, I don't see starter in Kieran Amagaje right now based on what he performed last year. I'm just being honest with it. He looked completely outmatched. he looked like a kid amongst men, and he looked like he didn't understand what the fuck the blocking schemes were at all. Now, coaching may have played a huge part into that. We did change offensive line coaches, so maybe that gets better development. And I know that they drafted Kieran with more of a project type thing on him, but as of right now, Kieran Amagaje is the offensive line version of Patrick Williams, and I'm not. I don't know. I don't feel too positively about that right now.
He worse than at the same age. He's worse than Braxton, and that's a problem.
Yeah,
he's a higher pick, so I ain't feeling it.
What's the possibility of Tevin coming back, and what happened to that running back that blew his knee in preseason? So he's still is it Isaiah Stewart?
Yeah,
he's still on the team.
Wait,
he's
no,
be
that's
here
the
next
basketball
year.
player.
No, that's the basketball player.
Isaiah Isaac. Is it Isaac?
Man, I'm blowing my jaw right now, not remembering old boy's name. But
the reason I remember why we bringing him up, he fucking tore his knee up. I ain't thinking about him.
Yeah, but I mean, a year after, like about year and a half after tearing your knee, you got Travis Homer.
No, it's not Travis Homer.
It's not. Oh no, it's not Travis Homer. Who the fuck? What was his name?
It's either Isaiah or Isaac. I know it's either Isaiah or Isaac.
It is. Ian Wheeler.
I knew it was an I.
There you go. I fucked you up by saying Isaiah Stewart so confidently is what I fucked you
Isaiah
up.
Stewart. I'm like, no.
Tevin, I don't think Tevin's coming back, bro. I
think it's like a 40% chance.
Yeah, I used to think that like if he's willing to take a 1-year prove deal or something like that, maybe. But I don't think that Tevin's coming back. I think if Tevin comes back, that means that they struck out on their main 2 or 3 targets is what that says.
4 targets, shit.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think Tevin's coming back here, unfortunately, man.
Yeah, and I'm not looking about Ian. Unless this motherfucker's AB, I'm not thinking about him.
It's 2025. A torn ACL isn't as damning as what it used to be, brother.
You tell me a running back that just recently torn their ACL and they look okay.
That's a good point. I have to look. I'd have to go.
I'm just saying, bro.
I feel you. We'll see what happens, man. Any other thoughts, Steve, before we get up out of here? Bulls game on.
Oh no, man. Just tune in. Hey, it started gonna be ramping up. I think the drill start tomorrow. So yeah, let's get it on.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, chicagobearcentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Chi-Town up, Bear down, y'all.